Hi, this is Eddie Deezen, and you're listening to No Good Music.
Welcome to No Good Music. I'm Rob.
Thanks for having me.
And I'd like to welcome Eddie Deezen to the podcast.
Now, is that light okay? Does it look okay, or should I move to another room?
You're a little
There's
bright,
light
but
shining in.
I only use a little bit of video promo, but yeah, the light.
When I do cameo videos, I actually do them in my bathtub because there's better light there. I go to the bathtub. You want to try it there? Because I see the light streaming in on my face. Is that okay with you? Okay, I'm going to move to the bathtub.
Okay. And give me 1 second. I'm going to disconnect my.
Sure.
I have to hook to another monitor.
Okay.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
So let's start with, I wanted to ask you, you started out before you were an actor, you were a stand-up comedian, but I have the feeling you didn't do that for too long. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Your feeling is correct. I was never comfortable being a stand-up, but that's how you had to start. You know, what do? You come in, I moved from Maryland I'm in the middle of Hollywood, where there's literally a million young actors. So what am I going to do? So the Comedy Store would have open mic night on Monday. So that's where I got my start. It was that January 6th, 1976, a little over 50 years ago. I went up on open mic night. They introduced me. I wore a sailor hat. I could not memorize lines, and I had cue cards, Rob. I think I'm the only stand-up ever that used cue cards, but I would read my jokes off a cue card. So I did it that night. I got a good reception. I got good laughs. Then I went the next week, the same place, Comedy Store, good reception, good laugh. Then 2 weeks later, I went to the Comedy Store in Westwood, and I bombed. And I just said, you know what? I don't like doing this. I'm going to get out of it. So that was it. I had 3 appearances as a stand-up comic until my first TV appearance on The Gong Show.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you were stand-up, did you open for anybody big that became big?
It was open mic night, and it was like a star search. It was like, here's Bill Smith, here's Jack Jones, whatever, and here's Eddie Deezen, here's Sam Miller, and they just had us all at a row and a row and a row. I think it was all guys. I don't even know if there were women stand-ups in those days. Man, it was 50 years ago. The world is so different now, but I think it was all guys.
I think Joan Rivers was probably one of the first.
Joan Rivers had to be about the first, at least to make it big, Yeah.
Now, I know you were very close with your mom. I'm not sure. I assume your dad, too.
Not so much. My mom definitely, my dad in my younger years.
So was your mom very encouraging that you wanted to be an entertainer?
Well, Dad and I did not get on that good. We had a lot of fights, a lot of really, really bad moments I won't get into, but a lot of bad times. Yeah. But he did come through for me in this time. When I went to LA, I graduated high school. I was 18. So I came to LA the day after high school. And of course, what high school kid who was 18 has any money? I had no money. So Dad would send me $400 a month. He gave me $400 a month. Okay. And I think I had my bar mitzvah money. He gave me my bar mitzvah money, which they kept for my bar mitzvah. It was an easy figure to remember. It was $888. So I had $888 and Dad's $400, and he would send me it every month until I got Grease 2 years later. Then I went out on my own. But the Dad will always be grateful. I never made it without my dad. And Mom, to answer your question, my mom was very encouraging. Mom was always an up person. She was the best friend I ever had, and she was always encouraging, even in my worst moments.
I think it's incredible that your first year in acting, you were in 3 films, one of which was huge, and one was, I would say, was not huge, but kind of big, and one that wasn't so big.
Right.
So it was LASERBLAST, Grease, and I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Yes. The order is, Rob, Grease was my first, right there. Grease was my first. Then I did LASERBLAST, a sci-fi film, low budget, for 3 days. And then I did I Want to Hold Your Hand. Steven Spielberg produced it. Bob Zemeckis, my favorite director, directed it. So it was in that order. But they were released in the order. LASERBLAST was first, which was the anniversary of March 1st, 50 years ago, March 1st, 1978 it came out. And then I Want to Hold Your Hand came out April 16th, 78. And Grease came out, of course, June 16th, 1978.
Well, I Want to Hold Your Hand was Robert Zemeckis' first film.
Right, exactly. And he was later, as you know, he directed me in The Polar Express. He wrote me into The Polar Express. Yeah. And he wrote 1941 with Bob Gale.
Yeah. And it was produced by Stephen Spielberg.
Right. First film Stephen ever produced.
Yeah. Now, I haven't seen this movie, but as far as I know, the description is it centers around the Beatles performance at the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Yes, 7 teenagers, we try to get in to see the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, and you see the hijinks and misadventures we get into.
Mm-hmm. And your name was Richard Ringo Klaus.
Exactly, yes.
Tell me about your experience on this film. I mean, was it filmed in New York? Was it, or did they kind of
That's a good question. No, it was all recreated. They even recreated the Beatles. How are you a Beatles fan?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, you have to see this movie, Rob. You have to see it somewhere. It's got to be online streaming somewhere.
I was telling your assistant, I can't, it's not, when I look it up, you know, they tell you where you can stream it, and there's nothing there.
Not on YouTube, nothing, not on Tubi, nothing.
I have to do a little bit more exploring.
Yeah, I guarantee if you're a Beatles fan, you'll love it. Paul McCartney did an impression of me once, and they go, they were talking about it, want to hold your hand, and they go, "Have you ever seen the movie?" And you haven't seen the film, but there's a guy. Paul goes, "And the answer come back, and the answer come back." You'll see me do that gag in the movie. I do a gag, and I'm the greatest Beatles expert in the universe.
And he did an impression of you.
Paul did an impression of me. That was one of the great, most flattering impressions I ever had. I had a lot of impressions, but that was the coolest. And they asked George Harrison once, they said, "George, there are a lot of Beatles type movies. Which is your favorite?" And George Harrison, in his inimitable voice, goes, "I like the Ringo Klaus movie." And he said, "And he liked that movie." So those were my two greatest compliments.
So you must have stood out in that movie.
It was great fun. I think it was the best thing I ever did. I've done like 30 movies or whatever, but it was the best thing I ever did because I got to play a Beatles nut, and that's who I am. And also, Bob Zemeckis is the best director I've ever had. He did Polar Express, which was probably my other best performance. So he's by far my favorite. Not by far, but he's my favorite director. Stephen Spielberg is a close second.
Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun. So much fun to shoot. It was. We did not do New York. We recreated New York. We did it in L.A., but we created New York. And the Beatles weren't in it, but we recreated the Beatles. We had all these angles on the Beatles, but we didn't have them. We'd have like John talking, and we'd have the back of his head. George talking, and we'd have his foot. Ringo talking, and they show his stomach or whatever. But you have to see how they did it, but it was genius. And when I did Polar Express, I talked to Tom Hanks about it, and he said how much he liked it. And he said, "I love the way they recreated the Beatles. They made you feel like the Beatles were really there. It's like they faked the Beatles and did it really good." Yeah.
Did they have impersonators doing the voices, or did they use actual audio?
They used impersonators. Yes, they did.
Okay.
When it was sticky stuff on me, that was Paul, and they had the four voice, and they had impersonators doing them. Yes.
It's great though, because you're part of the Beatles universe, with that movie.
They're a big part of my life, huge part of my life.
Yeah. Let's talk about Grease. This is one of my favorite movies. I was 12 years old when this came out. And I went to see it with a girl down the street. She was a couple years older than me. She might have been 15. I don't know. But we went and saw it, and I saw it 2 times in a row. We just stayed and saw it a second time so I saw it in the theater when I was 12. She had the soundtrack, and we would go down into our basement, and we would sing along to the album. Very cool. Now, I was always told, I went to Phillipsburg High School in Phillipsburg, New Jersey, but it was kind of cool because there was a girl in the movie. She didn't have a speaking role, but she was standing outside the high school in the beginning scene. And she graduated from Phillipsburg High School. So that was kind of a big thing. I want to know, did you audition, and were there other people auditioning for the role of Eugene? Yes, there definitely were. I went in for my audition, and I heard the movie was called Grease. I'd never seen it, but I heard it's called Grease. So I put a lot of Brill cream in my hair. I bought Brill cream so I could put it to make my hair greasy. I thought that's what they meant. And that's kind of what they meant, but it didn't fit Eugene. There were greasers, the T-Birds and John and Kanicki, but not Eugene. Eugene would not have grease in his hair, but I put grease in my hair. I wore the first Pee Wee Herman suit, Rob. I wore the Pee Wee Herman suit. I wore white suit, the suit you see me in Grease, a bow tie like Pee Wee Herman and white bucks. And then Paul Rubens, who later became my pal last year, we did a movie, Midnight Madness. I guess we'll talk about that later. But we did a movie called Midnight Madness, which was his first movie. And he later told me, he said, I partially influenced Pee Wee Herman character. And I'm sure he meant that he got the outfit from me. If you look at his outfit and compare it to Eugene's, it's the same thing. So what we see in the movie, that was your suit. That was, yes, that was a suit I bought. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Right. I spent some money. I probably brought it from a secondhand place, but I did wear that to the audition. Yes. Do you still have the suit?
Oh no, it's long gone,
Okay.
long gone. I don't know what happened to it, but it's long gone.
It'd be in a
You know,
museum.
it's sad, Rob. I don't. Yeah, it should be. You're right. It should be, or some of my other stuff. But the only souvenir I had from Greece for years was I had my red lei. You know, we wear it the Hawaiian luau at the end, and I have a lei with
Yeah.
its red. And I had
Oh,
it years
okay.
ago, and then I sold it on eBay for like $100
Oh,
or something. But
yeah.
I don't have anything left now. It's amazing.
Uh,
Of souvenirs from all my movies, I don't think there's one thing left. Yeah.
hmm Now, I heard a rumor. I don't know if you have any insight on Greece that
Hmm.
Elvis was once thought of to be cast as Danny Zuko or the
Uh,
teen angel.
Yeah, I had heard Teen Angel, one of those two. Maybe it was Danny Zuko. I don't know. Now, the condition he was in, you know, he might have got away with Teen Angel. They might have
Yeah,
sewed
yeah,
it up, but no way could he have played Danny Zuko. It's a very physical role and such a big role.
yeah,
But Elvis never did a movie as good as Grease, you know, as great as Elvis was. And I'm a huge Elvis fan, but his
yeah.
movies were kind of not that great. They were pretty good before the Army,
Oh, yeah.
those four. And then Viva Las Vegas was good. But he never got to
Hmm.
do a movie as good as Grease. And he would, you know, if you went back to the 50s Elvis, he would have killed it as Danny Zuko. He would have been so great.
Yeah. I'm thinking that Grease was maybe they were developing this movie years before it was made.
Right.
And maybe that's, but not as far back as, the comeback special. That was
Right.
68.
Right.
But maybe, Elvis died, what, in 77?
77, right.
Yeah.
Which was, by the way, here's trivia for you. I don't know if you know this trivia. The last day of shooting on Grease was August 16th, 1977. That's when the film wrapped. That was the
Hmm.
day Elvis died.
Yeah. And I heard that the song that Rizzo sings and she
Hmm.
mentions Elvis, that's when that
Hmm.
was
That's
filmed.
exactly right. That was
Yeah,
the
that
last
day.
shot. That was the
Yeah.
last Grease shot. And
Yeah.
isn't that amazing? But it's
Yeah.
true. My last day was August 2nd, 1977, Rob. And I threw up. I'm the only actor in the history of Hollywood. I threw up in three of my first four movies. But
Yeah.
Grease, we were at the carnival scene, and
Hmm.
the producer Alan Carter something. He goes, Eddie, can you get in that spin around machine? They put, you stand up and you spin around. You see it for
Hmm.
like a second on screen. And they go, can you get in that? I get bad motion sickness, Mr. Carr. I can't do that. And then finally he kept, come on, we need to do it. And then finally they did it, and they talked me into, what am I going to do? I couldn't say no. It was my
Yeah.
first movie, and he was Alan Carr. He's a big time producer.
Hmm.
So they put me in the thing, they strapped me, and they spun me around. So I finished the scene. I walked up the middle of a pasture, a field that was adjacent to our thing. It was a field there, and I threw up. I threw up in the middle of a field. That was my last day on Grease.
Yeah, I wasn't good with rides. I mean, I
Yeah,
like roller coasters, but yeah,
I like Ferris wheels. I liked and merry-go-rounds, but that's about all I can take. I can
yeah.
never take a spin around or a roller coaster. I would get sick.
Well, let's talk about you mentioned Ferris wheel, and
Hmm.
another movie is 1941.
Yes. And you want to hear my throw up story in that?
I saw that in the theater too. So I was
Okay.
probably 13.
Okay. And that one's a mixed bag. I think that one has gained traction over the years. It's definitely a cult film
Hmm.
now. But when
Yeah.
it came out, the critics savaged it. But it did make money. It was
Hmm.
known as a flop, Spielberg's flop. After Jaws and Close Encounters, it was thought it was a
Oh
flop.
yeah,
But it
yeah,
did make money. But it didn't make Spielberg money. But it's a popular film. I talk to people all the time now who love that movie.
yeah. That was a big production, though. I
Yeah,
think. I mean,
big time.
John
At
Candy
the
was in
time,
that too. Dan
John Candy's first film, I think.
Oh, okay.
Dan Aykroyd was his first film. Danny Aykroyd and John, only as great as he was, he only left us with like 7 or 8 movies, and that's
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
the movies. So it's precious because John was such a great guy, and he left us so little movie wise.
Oh, I love John Belushi.
Me
Yeah.
too. He was a great guy, wonderful guy.
Because another thing, I watched Saturday Night Live when I was 11. My
Hmm.
parents would go to bed,
Hmm.
and I watched it from almost the beginning, like when
Yeah,
it's, the year it started.
right. Yeah, I
Um,
didn't watch from the beginning, but I watched that first season. And though, those were still the most special seasons, I think, those early seasons. They were so
yeah.
great and fresh. The cast was so great. Chevy
Hmm.
Chase, Gilda Radner, Lorraine Newman, who I later knew. And yeah, they were all great.
Yeah. Now back to 1941.
Hmm.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember the Ferris wheel
Yes.
letting loose,
Yeah.
and I think you were on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, that's my
But
that's my second throw up story. Stephen
okay.
was whipping us around for that scene. He was whipping us around real fast. He had a Ferris wheel on full tilt. And Murray and I were being whipped around, and I felt nauseous. And I said, Stephen, can you stop it? He goes, what's going on? I go, I feel sick. I feel nauseous. So he
Hmm.
brought me down from the Ferris wheel. He goes, go lay down in my dressing room. So
Yeah.
he had a pretty blonde secretary. His secretary took me to
Hmm.
Stephen's dressing room. There was a cot there. So I laid in his cot. So I'm recovering. And then I felt really sick. So, Rob, I crawled on my hands and knees to Steven Spielberg's bathroom, and I threw up at Steven Spielberg's toilet. Literally, it was one of the highlights of my life.
Now that I asked you this before, I met you like maybe a year and a half ago in Allentown, and I asked you about the dummy that you
Yes.
had. There was a dummy in the movie that looked like, yeah, he was
They
wearing a
called him Little
sailor
D's.
suit, I think.
They called him Little D's. Stephen called him Little D's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know where he is?
No, this is what I heard. This is a rumor I heard because I get that question all the time. First of all, it's weird that the movie was $41 million movie, which was huge at that time. Nowadays, that's like 300 million or 200 million, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, they only had one, which you'd assume they had like 10 or 20 of them, but they only had one dummy, I think. I had heard that a rich lady either won him in a raffle or auctioned and got him in an auction. But I heard that he was with a rich lady. That's what I heard. And she might be gone now because this was years and years ago. I heard that. So I don't know where he is now. Hopefully he's still intact and alive.
Maybe he'll show up soon.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? We could have a reunion.
You've done also a lot of voiceovers for animated TV shows. Tell me a little bit about Polar Express. This is a Stephen Spielberg, right? No, this was
Bob Zemeckis.
Yeah, okay.
I think Stephen might have been one of the producers. I'm not sure, but I think he might have been one.
So did Bob reach out to you to be this character know-it-all?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The answer is yes, because if you look at the book, the Polar Express book is one of the big sellers of all time. It's a very popular Christmas book. It's a little thin book. It's like 17 pages, but there is no know-it-all character. Bob wanted me in it, and he made up the character. Wow. He wrote the character for me and made it up and he put me in. Yeah, so it was an honor, And Tom Hanks is my favorite actor, so I got to work with him. Bob Zemeckis is my favorite director. I got to work with him. And also, Rob, I always had on my bucket list, I love Christmas, my favorite day of the year. Even though I'm Jewish, I always love Christmas. And I always want to do a Christmas movie. So that was on my bucket list, too. So I got 3 things there.
And I think that they play it every year, probably on.
Yes. In fact, I'm still waiting for my residuals. They played it 13 times in December, Christmas season, and I'm still waiting for my residual check. I swear it takes that long.
So my son is he's 22 years old. He's never seen Grease. But I mentioned your name, but when I mentioned Polar Express and Know It All, he knew exactly. And also Dexter's Laboratory, which I never watched. So
you never seen Dexter's Laboratory?
No. You have different generations.
I guess so, yeah.
Of fans.
Well, I'll be honest, there's some of my stuff I haven't seen either, so I guess you can't see it all. I haven't seen some. I never seen Rock-a-Doodle, a movie I did, and some other stuff I did. The Brave Little Toaster, I did one of those, and I've never seen that. So
now, do you prefer doing voiceover than to actual acting?
Well, it prefers an interesting word because voiceovers are easier because I have a hard time memorizing lines. Like when I did Polar Express, Bob got me cue cards the whole movie. I read my whole role from cue cards all the way through. After 11 weeks, Tom Hanks we finished. Tom Hanks goes, "What the F are you?" I won't say F on your show. I won't say, Tom goes, "What the F are you doing with cue cards? Why do you need F in cue cards?" He said he couldn't imagine that because he's a great actor. He's a Shakespearean actor, He's one of the greats, and I'm just this guy, and I needed cue cards. I have a hard time memorizing lines. So in that sense, I like doing voiceovers better. Yeah. Because you don't have to memorize lines, just read it. But I like acting on screen. It's fun interacting with actors.
It's a long day. It's probably a longer day than, even voiceovers would be a long day.
100%. It's a long day. Shooting on film is a long day. You go in the set way early. You go in like 6 in the morning. Girls it's usually earlier because they need more makeup. So they go in 5 or 5:30. And then you shoot till 6 at night. It's a long day. Whereas voiceovers, you go in, the longest that ever goes is 3 hours. Usually voiceovers are over in an hour or 2 hours.
I've been in a couple like independent horror films, nothing big, but I did one last year, and I had to go. It was only a one day. I only had to be there one day, but I had to get there at 7. I was a police officer, no lines. Yeah. And then I waited around till like 1:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
And then finally it took like 30 minutes to shoot our scene. Then we were done,
Yeah, it's they call it a hurry up and wait business. You hurry up, you get there in the morning, they get you all made up. And some days they don't even use you. I've had days, I've been made up at 6 in the morning, made up and in wardrobe. And then I'll be in my dressing room until 6 at night. You play solitaire, you watch TV, you listen to the radio, and they go, "Eddie, we're not going to use you today. Come back tomorrow." And that's it. So it's hurry up and wait.
So tell me about, I haven't seen the film. You mentioned Pee Wee Herman. And what was the movie? Midnight Madness. Yes. No, I haven't seen that film either.
Oh, that's a great movie. That was Michael J. Fox's first movie. Michael J. Fox's first movie, and it was David Naughton's first movie. Who did I'm a Pepper, He's a Pepper, Dr. Pepper. Yeah.
Now, was this in the 80s?
This was 1980. Yes.
Okay. And you remain friends with Pee Wee Herman, or?
Yeah, when we'd run into each other out, and we didn't hang out together, but I would run into him. I would go to Cantor's Deli. I would run into him, and we'd see each other around town. And I remember seeing him at Cantor's Deli once in about 1984. And I go, "Hello, Paul. How are you?" He goes, he's real depressed. I go, "What's the matter?" He goes, "I got this script. Nobody wants it." He goes, "I'm taking it to every studio." And it was Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Wow.
He was turned down by all the studios. And then finally, Warner Brothers took it.
Mm-hmm. He should have put you in that movie too.
Oh, I would love to have been. Yeah, it's a good movie. And he was a great guy, wonderful guy.
And someone we just lost, Robert Carradine, he was in Revenge of the Nerds. And you posted a picture of you and Robert, and you said to him that people get us confused.
Yes, I get all. Are you the guy from Revenge of the Nerds? I look like this way.
Yeah.
I just like plaid shirts. I don't know why, but nerds always wear plaid shirts, and I like that. And I go, Robert, I've been mistaken for you probably 100 times in my life. Do you get mistaken for me? And he goes, all the time, he said.
Yeah.
Very nice guy.
Yeah, I met him I think it was a couple years ago. They had all the 8 of the people from Revenge of the Nerds. And I have a group photo. It's in it's actually hanging in my office. Yeah. And that's like my favorite photo, because there's, 8 different people from,
Very cool. Yes. I used to know Curtis Armstrong. He was a very nice guy.
Now talk to me. Let's go back to Polar Express, because you mentioned Tom Hanks, because I assume that a lot of the voiceover work, sometimes you aren't in the same room with the person, but you mentioned that you did get to meet Tom Hanks. We've that's one of the weirdest questions I get asked, but I get asked it all the time. They go, "When you did Polar Express, did you meet Tom Hanks?" They assume we were in booths recording it. No, we acted that out just like a movie. Wow.
It was all acted out. I worked with 11 weeks for Tom. I saw him every day. The 4 of us, me, Tom, Nona Gay, the hero girl, who was Marvin Gaye's daughter, and Peter Scolari, who was the nicest guy in the world. He was the only one I'd worked with before. We did a terrible movie called The Rosebud Beach Hotel. I worked with Peter.
Okay.
But anyway, every morning the 4 of us would get in scuba suits. They glue a scuba cap to our head, and they would glue 152 dots to our face, electronic dots. It was shot with a special camera. It was called motion capture. It was the first motion capture movie. So we would act out our scene. I want all those presents, Santa Claus, and we'd act it out. And then they had these 4 little kids. They had a little kid, Tom, me, Peter, and they would act out the same scene. And they would have the Eddie Deezen. I want all those presents, Santa Claus. They move and they morph their bodies together. That's how they did motion. Wow. That's why it looks so weird.
Yeah. Let's talk about music a little bit. We mentioned a little bit about the Beatles. I know, and we mentioned Elvis. I want to tell you, you inspired me to get this book.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I just got
good book. I couldn't get through the letters at the end, but it's a good book. But they have all this correspondence from the Colonel at the end. I couldn't read that. It was too much. But the book itself is great.
I didn't realize it was this big of a book. It's
yes. Did you read the other Brownick books, the Elvis book?
What was that?
Did you read the other books by Peter Brown? Did you read the other Elvis books by Peter Brownick? No. Oh, they're great. If you're an Elvis fan, he wrote Elvis and another one.
Okay.
And they're both great books. And by the way, Tom Hanks was a great Elvis fan. We would talk about Elvis on set, and he's the one that got me to go to Graceland. I go, "Have you ever been to Graceland?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "What was it like?" He said, "It was sad, but he said you should go there." And then later, I had my best Christmas present. I had 2 friends took me to an all expense paid Christmas at Graceland, so that was the best present I ever had.
Yeah,
yeah, so cool.
My mom was born on January 8th, and
cool.
But not the same year.
Right.
She passed away a while ago, but she was such an Elvis fan. So I was an Elvis fan from an early age. And I didn't realize it till years later. We were at Graceland the first year it opened.
Oh, cool.
And it was like 1982. I was 16 years old. So 16-year-old who loves music, imagine going to Graceland. I remember walking down the steps to the Jungle Room, and there was carpet on the walls, which I'd never seen carpet on the walls.
Yeah.
There was a woman that supposedly she was Elvis's maid or something that was still living in the house.
Was that Mary Jenkins, an African-American lady, or what?
I don't know. My parents talked to her, and I just thought it was odd that, it had been a couple of years since he passed away, that someone was still living in the house. So and I do want to go back. And this was way before, I don't know, how long ago did you go to Graceland?
I mean, maybe like 20 years ago.
Yeah. Because there used to be across the street, there was this like shopping center. I don't know if it was a strip mall, and they had a big memorabilia place there.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear that it's like just it's all like Elvis, like all around there, and the Heartbreak Hotel. Do you know about
Right.
that? Yeah.
Yes.
There's a new
That's
hotel that
Oh,
Priscilla
I'd like
had
to go
something to
there.
do with.
Cool. I'd like to go
Yeah.
there. Great time at Graceland. I loved it. We had peanut butter banana sandwiches. Do you know trivia? When was Elvis's birthday? Do you know the trivia?
Well, January 8th, 1930. Let's see, 35.
You're exactly right.
Okay.
Now, who was born not on that day, but who was born the next day?
That I don't know.
Gilligan, Bob Denver,
Oh, okay.
was born January 9th, 1935.
I met Bob Denver, believe it or not, at a boat show in New Jersey.
Mhm. I met him. Very nice guy.
I had the Columbia House came out with the VHS tapes. They were in a box.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I brought for him to sign. And it was sad because he's like, oh, who's putting these out? Meaning, he didn't get any money,
Only Don Wells got money. Marianne's the only one that got residuals. She was smart.
Are you a Honeymooners fan?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Well, the one season.
Okay.
They had found the early
39.
ones, and I remember I was real excited. And I watched them, and they aren't that funny. They're not that funny at the beginning, and they're not that funny the later ones with Sheila McRae. But the 1 year, 1956, 57, the golden 39, the classic 39, are the funniest sitcom of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody was as good as Jackie Gleason, greatest sketch comic ever. And they were such a great comedy team.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she was great. Audrey Meadows was great.
I know his son, Brian.
Oh, is that right?
I've been friends with him for a while. I used to do a Honeymooners trivia show.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to interview him, and I'm like, well, what can we talk about? Music? And he's like, well, I toured for like 10 years. Played colleges like Brian Carney did.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, you want me to come to you? And he lives about 2 hours away in New York. And he came to my house, and I met him before, but he brought the Oscar, the Emmy, and the Golden Globe.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
I heard when he would visit with Jackie, he would have to hide his Emmys, When Jackie came over to visit, he had 6 Emmys, and he had to hide because Jackie Gleason never got an Emmy, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe, but he never got one, and he was kind of jealous.
So we weighed the Oscar. It weighs about 9.5 pounds.
Oh, so it's pretty heavy. That's pretty heavy. Yeah.
So we went in my bathroom in my master bedroom and we weighed it. And I'm laying there that night in bed thinking, Art Carney's Oscar was just sitting on the scale in my bathroom.
Yes. Very cool.
So do you do you listen to music? You listen to music
all the time.
Now, do you like the classics? Or do you listen to any newer music?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I listen to oldies. I like 60s, 70s, 50s with Elvis. I like the late 50s Elvis stuff, but I love 60s, 70s, some of the 80s, and then that's when I stop.
Yeah.
I always tell people this. I wouldn't know what's her name? Who's the famous one?
Taylor Swift.
Area. Who is it?
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. I wouldn't know her song if you played.
Yeah.
No, I swear to God, I would not know it. I don't know anything about her. Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to older stuff and newer. And
I like the older stuff is so much better. Oh my God.
Well, I agree. But I also somehow I love pop music. I love like Dua Lipa and but I don't listen to that all the time. I'll go back to Sinatra then. I'll listen to
I love
Miles
Frank
Davis.
Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, not the early days, but I like Frank Sinatra like the 50s, Fly Me to the Moon, that stuff. He's great. Those are great. Sorry, I'm knocking my shampoo over.
Now, do you collect vinyl albums?
I used to have a big collection, but again, not anymore. So much of my material stuff is gone. I have books now, is what I have basically, tons of books, clothes, that's about it. But no souvenirs from my films and no memorabilia anymore. I left home. And my family was robbed years ago. After I left, they were robbed and they got a lot of stuff. So they probably got I think they got a lot of my scrapbooks, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any new projects coming up, or are you pretty much retired?
No, just signing shows. We just do signing shows. Denise and I do signing shows around the country. We're going to a place near St. Louis this weekend. They're going to screen Grease Saturday night, and they're going to we're going to have a signing show the next day. Toy show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, one more thing, because
Sure.
we only have I think we have 7 minutes,
Okay.
which is good. There's a Grease, I don't know, maybe you know about it. There's a Grease fan event on May 1st and 2nd, and it's in Illinois
Oh.
with some cast members. I just wanted to tell you about it because it keeps coming up on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
I think it's at a drive-in and they have the Grease Lightning car there.
Oh, no kidding. Very cool.
But Lorenzo Lamas is going to be there,
Okay.
Jamie Donnelly, Barry Pearl, Michael Tucci, Ellen Travolta is even going to be there.
Oh my God, yes.
And it says director Randall Kleiser.
Randall Kleiser, who's 80 now. He's turning 80.
And casting director Joel Thurm.
Mr. Thurm's a great guy.
Yeah, they're all going to be there. I just wanted to. I don't know what you're doing May 1st or 2nd, but
no, I'll look into it. I used to do a lot of those shows, but I haven't done them in a while. I usually do alone stuff now, solo stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't have to split up the money.
Do you keep in contact with any of the cast members?
Not really, not so much. I did for a while when I was doing the shows, but not since I stopped doing the shows with them.
I met Frankie Avalon.
Nice guy, super nice guy.
And Dee Dee Khan. I think they were at both the Chiller Theater, the one in Parsippany.
Right.
Dee Dee Khan is on a new show now.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Called Best Medicine.
God bless her. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great show because it almost like a family show. It's like it has like sort of a theme song when it starts. It just reminds me of like an old, like a 70s show or something.
Oh, cool. She did a show in the 70s or 80s, The Practice. Remember with Danny Thomas?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, good. She's so sweet. Everybody loves Dee Dee.
Anything else you want to mention? I think.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, there's a lot more to talk about, but we covered a good bit in 35 minutes. Yeah.
And for our listeners, you can find Eddie on Facebook. And
yes, I'm on Facebook and Instagram every day. I put like 20 posts up every day. So please.
And your jokes I love your jokes.
Well, thank you. Thanks
for create your own jokes.
Thank you. Well, I steal a couple, but I do create a lot of them.
So thank you, Eddie. I'm glad it worked out. We got it working out.
I'm glad Denise saved the day as usual. Denise has saved my bacon so many times, but she saved the day. And Rob, it's a pleasure being on your show. I wish you continued success with your podcast. God bless you. Thank you, Rob.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm getting out of the bathtub now.
Okay. See ya. You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's interview was produced and edited by Rob J. Lilly and recorded via Zoom at the Did You Say
7
Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Pandora, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Exit music by the band 99%.